Hello, my name is Stephen Oh. I'm presenting a passwordless case study in Korea. So mostly this is the deployment cases that we went through, and then I'm going through inside the Korea right now. So this is more focused on Korean cases. So who we are TrustKey Solutions, or that's in the United States, and TrustKey is in Korea. So it's same name, but it's a TrustKey Solutions in the United States and TrustKey is in Korea. So we are a hardware verified authenticator vendor, and we have 4 products in biometric, which is G310H and G320H, and non-biometric T110 and T120. And we are first biometric authenticator vendor with the security level 2 certification. I'm Stephen Oh, founder of TrustKey and CEO of TrustKey Solutions and EWBM. Okay, so motivation of this talk is passwordless. So passwordless authentication is the future. There's a Forbes magazine recently published it, and they talking about 13 technical trends that will soon impact consumers and businesses. And they look at the passwordless authentication as one of their technical trend that is going to happen. They are looking at more mobile device authentication, but this is more true for PC environment too. And there's a magazine from UK called verdict.co.uk. And this is Andrew Sikia from FIDO Alliance. He said the majority of consumer websites will be passwordless by 2023, which is about 2 years left. So passwordless website and passwordless everything is gonna happen pretty soon. So this is the motivation, and then this is what's happening in Korea. So the FIDO is one of the passwordless, actually the most prominent, the passwordless authentication. And from the state of passwordless security presented in Cybersecurity Insider, and two of the things that they presented were, the passwordless authentication has to be some kind of based on international standard. So FIDO protocol, we call WebAuthn, is international standard. And then they also looking into the interoperability, and FIDO keys based on the FIDO protocol are interoperable. So FIDO authentication itself is good for the others requirements from the industry, and is the mainstream authentication right now. So from the US federal government mandates, OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, draft a federal zero trust strategy. They are looking at the phishing resistance. So one of the key words right now is non-phishable MFA, multi-factor authentication. So they said, OMB said they reported not settled the exact multi-factor authentication standard yet, but reportedly looking at the hardware keys. So FIDO is one of the candidates they're looking at. Actually, this is the most prominent candidate for US government. And then there are a lot of talking about, hey, US federal government is moving this way, and then your state and local government should follow the suit. So this is what's going to happen in the United States. Okay, then what about Korea? There's a white paper published by NIS, National Institute of Security, National Security, Cybersecurity white paper published in July 2021 in English and Korean. And then another one is National Security Requirement, that's the right side, published in September 2021 this year in Korean language. So inside the National Security Requirement, it says the common server security requirement is so this is Korean. So if you look at the additional discernment and authentication, FIDO certified 2FA keys and PKIs and OTP can be used. That's the first one here in the requirement. But it says when the service products and OS support and 2FA devices based on FIDO standard are strongly recommended. So the whole Korean government right now recognize the technology of the FIDO authentication, and they strongly recommend FIDO standard 2FA devices, which is the FIDO keys or FIDO, based on FIDO protocol, the phone application. So this is, the FIDO is really picking up, and this is the mainstream for whole Korea right now, especially in the public sector. Okay, so I'm gonna present 3 different cases today. And the first one actually is a Korean government agent and TrustKey, we call TrustKey login solutions for on-premises AD Active Directory joint PCs. And then another one is temporary passwordless login mechanism for data access, data center access. And then the last one is passwordless login and file management. So I'm gonna spend on this first one, the TrustKey login solutions for on-prem AD joint PCs. And then I'm gonna briefly mention other tools. Even though all 3 were deployed and then used and then abused and still doing good, and then we have a lot of satisfied customers based on the FIDO authentication. Okay, so first case, situation for government. Many Korean government agents are looking for passwordless authentication systems, and they have 2 separate networks for security: intranet for sensitive data, that's internal, and internet for the general use. And then they're using password. So they have multiple passwords like window login, and then on-prem AD password and other application passwords. So they have like 3 or 4 different passwords for each cases. So 4 passwords for intranet and another 4 passwords for internet, which gives them like really headache. So, and each password system has its own policy and update policies, and what is the rule, like 12 digits and 16 digits and a combination of mixture of capital letter, small letter, and all those kind of stuff. So it become really password stress is really prominent, really high. So, and then no password reuse. You have to come up with a new password every time, which they have some kind of program to assist you to choose one of the random passwords, which you can forget. So it's hard to remember. And then the frequent password changes is giving them a tremendous stress on password. Also, phone-based authentication is rejected because this is government. So government employee or public sectors, they are actually accessing very sensitive data, and using your own personal phone is not good. So this is one of the situations. So requirement was, okay, has to be passwordless, okay, because of the password stress. And then strong authentication, no SMS OTP because of no phone. And then it has to be biometric device. However, biometric template shall not be stored at a local PC. So Windows Hello, for example, is rejected. And then portability, enabled to log in other PCs, and has to be standard or legacy system support, meaning there's no customized software integration, no unknown software, and then support legacy on-prem AD, and then support both networks. Use one authentication for both networks. This is the requirement. And then target system was, okay, let's use a biometric FIDO authenticator, and then using password concealment for Active Directory, so no password at all. And then because this is an intranet situation, so no commercial cloud, so it has to be on-prem server integration. So this is the target system. So the deployment at a glance is, this is convenient and security enhancement login solutions with a one touch, which is fingerprint authentication, and replacing ineffective ID and password method. So before authentication, you can see, some there's a logo, our logo there, but it has to be like their logo because we cannot, take the pictures. So this is the example. And before authentication, you just touch the key to log in, and then you can come into your PC. And then top of that, if this is AD Active Directory situation, and then you can single sign on into the Office. So you don't have to log into your own Office 365, which you can just use one authentication for your PCs, your local PCs and ADs, and then cloud. This is for the general usage, not the intranet situation. So this is what will be presented. And we're using this. You can do biometric authentication. Obviously, you don't type anything. Just very, very effective biometric authentication. And then this is passwordless, and you can, for internet, not intranet, the internet, you can do, you can move into you can federate to the cloud services. So this is really good. The intranet, you have to be, contained, right? So there's some application you can actually connect into that, but for the intranet, you can do a lot of cloud services. And then also AD join, because in intranet, they have on-prem AD systems, and you want to control the user's account, manage the user's account by Active AD, the Active Directory. So you can you don't type anything, you just go into that. One authentication will satisfy all these three. So this is architecture. So we have security key here, and then there's a PC, a laptop. We have launcher, so that we call this is a TrustKey login manager. And then there's RP service to manage the users. And then there's a FIDO tool server that is doing the FIDO authentication. And then this MariaDB, this is DB service. So this is the architectures that has been implemented into the government. And then it's been used for the many thousands of people for last how many years. That is satisfactory for them, because the one thing they really they show the gratitude is they don't have to worry about password at all. Just fingerprint and that's it. So how it works? It works like this. Initially, you have left side. There's a registration stop, and only you just to the account, right? Your ID, and initially you have to use password. So because the legacy is password based, so you have to type in your ID and password, and register, and then fingerprint. That's it. And then next time you log in, it pops out like that, and then automatically it default users. There's the ID shows. So you just enter, and then the fingerprint. Or if you go to someone else's inside the network, inside the AD Active Directory network, but you want to log in yourself into someone else's PC, and you type your ID and then enter, and then the fingerprint authentication will do that. So this is the scenario. I'll show you some of the this is the left side is registration. So touch security key, so you touch it, and then register, right? So that's it. Then move on. So I'm gonna stop this here. So here you just touch it, and then touch the security key, and then you touch it, and it works, right? Okay, so the last one actually is for offline. What if you're using a laptop, and then you're okay with the join AD, but not only join AD, you're logging into your PC. But what if you're like airplane, and how you do that? So you can see there's no internet, and so once you register, authenticate once, and then your system actually remembers, so that you can do the offline login. without any problem. But you have to do that first, for the first time with the network. Okay, so next one. Okay, so at the premises, new person comes in, and then so what's happening is the enroll fingerprint, and then join, and they use it every day here, and then that person left the organization, and then they do the factory reset and reassign to another user. So this is very simple. So that's case one. So that in on-prem AD and then the cloud, you can use passwordless login. You don't type anything. You just do the fingerprint recognition. The case two is login activity management and data center. What's happening is they don't want to use a password at all. This is a little bit not standard FIDO authentication stuff, but as you can see, there's a lot of PCs inside the data center. And then this is certain people are allowed to come in here and then access the data, because data is very, very sensitive data. So when person comes in the office, and then you have to do registration, your fingers, enroll your fingers in registration. And then using the key, you go to the data center itself, and then you log in into one of the PCs. And then based on your the status of the accessibility of the data, they actually do everything inside the office. So this is a more like same thing, but it's very temporary. So this person comes in and register finger, enroll fingers, and then go to the data center, and then log into the PCs and log into the others, the service, web-based service stuff, and access everything, and then come out. So you don't allow to take any pictures and something like that. This is more government stuff. So and then come out, you just leave your key, and then they're gonna recycle, and then they're gonna assign to another people. So this is very, very temporary stuff, and they really enjoy this kind of stuff, because the password is hard to remember temporarily, and sometimes you have to carry out the password and all those kind of stuff, and you don't have to do that. So this is one of the deployment cases. And the last one is the login and the file management using password authentication. This is similar to the case one. So initially this is case one based, and then we add some of the applications like file management. So as you can see here, you can use a security key to log into your PCs. However, you can also register yourself into the file management systems that you can encrypt file management locally, and you can hide your files at the locally. Also, you can send the encrypt files into the targeted person. And then that recipient, the target recipient will receive, only that person can open this, decrypt and open this file using FIDO authentication. So even though this is not password based, so only you with the FIDO key and then biometric authentication will allow that person to access this file. So this is very, very strong file protection plan, and then file protection management that everybody actually love to have this, because they are very, very specifically say, hey, only you can see this, not anybody. Even though someone can hijack this file, they cannot do that because this is encrypted, and then decryption happens only by the key. So this is one of the application that's been used in actually the commercial domain. So in the FIDO deployment waves in Korea right now, so we are mostly this is not our all customers. This is just general the icons. But so we start from the government agents. So government mandate MFAs and get rid of password stresses, and then non-full authentication. And then right now we are moving into banks and the financial institute, because they look at the better security with the passwordless, and then get rid of password stress. And then we are seeing a little bit here and there on companies and schools, more share PCs and multiple platforms. So summary is, so passwordless is the future in Korea, and FIDO authentication is strongly recommended by NIS, and password authentication is picking up from the public sector first, and then BFSI, banks, financial services, insurance. And the commercial companies are slow for now because they're not really adapting cloud right now, but they are right also. And some on-prem AD users are right now looking at it. Also, schools and consumers, especially the consumers who are dealing with the very sensitive data, they want to use the FIDO-based services like file management. So thank you very much. So this is the case that we see and then deployed in Korea. Thank you very much.